Time for another exciting edition of Project 928X. So it's been about 3 weeks or so since my last video, and a lot has happened. I guess I'll recap a little bit on this episode. I got a $200 1980 Porsche 928, and it's in amazingly good shape. And last video I got it started, but it was started only on the cold start injector, so it would run for a few seconds and then cut out. And it was determined by myself and a friend of mine, Tommy Tilliston of Tilliston's Auto Repair, that it was the clogged fuel injector. So we got some of these GP brand new fuel injectors. They're like $50 a piece, and it runs, but it doesn't run well. It's missing. I think there might be another fuel injector that's out, but this fuel injector right here, it's got a factory crimped connection. The factory one had two hose clamps, top and bottom, the top of the injector and the bottom of the fuel rail. This one just has a crimped connection onto the fuel injector. Well, that one's leaking, and leaking a lot. So I'm going to fix that, and then I'm going to take the fuel injectors out of their holes, crank it over, and see which ones are running, and then we'll know if one's bad or not. So that's the next step. All right, so I started up the car with the injectors out of their injector holes, and noticed that every single one was spraying a nice pattern of fuel, so that's not the problem. Put them all back in their holes, and it's still running rough. So I noticed as I was putting everything back together, the fuel pressure regulator, which Colin Jensen up in Canada tells me that these raise the fuel pressure at wide open throttle and lower the fuel pressure at idle. It's leaking like crazy out of this. There's a little diaphragm in there. The vacuum pulls on the diaphragm and allows more fuel in when it's needed. The good thing is they're only $109 each, and the other good thing is, you know, when you buy any used car, it could be running good when you get it, but you could take it home and any myriad of things can go wrong with it. Well, when you fix something, when you buy something for cheaper and it's old and you replace it with new parts, they're new. So as you go down the list of things that have gone wrong, you're replacing it with new parts. So you get closer and closer to having a new car instead of a new car that's just getting older. So that's what I got to do. I got two of these things. There's one on each side to replace, and then hopefully that takes care of the idle problem, and we're Fat City and on to the wheels.